And to discuss where the war in West Asia is going, I'm joined on the show by Ambassador Sanjay Panda. He's a former senior diplomat, and Vice Admiral retired Shekhar Sinha. He's a former chief of the Integrated Defense Staff. Thank you both gentlemen for being on the show. First to you, Ambassador Panda. As the war enters day 16, this has dragged on for far too long. The earlier last year was 12 days, till last 12 days. I mean, the earlier one last year was for 12 days. But the kind of economic mess and disruption of global supply chains this particular war has created, where do you see this going? Is it going to drag on for a while, or could it come to an end anytime soon?
Mind my word, Amritpal, we are in for the long haul.
Okay.
I mean, the war, the way it's evolving, you see, you're talking about June 2025. I mean, that was just a cut and razor, a trailer. And now what we are seeing, the way it is evolving, I mean, it doesn't look scripted. I mean, I can see that there are several actions by the parties which is not thought through. It's just there are some knee-jerk reactions. There are moves. It doesn't see that there is any strategy about this war and the way it is heating. For example, yesterday's attack on the Kharg oil terminal. I mean, that's the way it has happened. I mean, you have to anticipate what could potentially be Iran's reaction. If Iran chooses to mine the Strait of Hormuz, then even demining process will take more than a year. And at this point in time, President Trump has asked others and its allies that, look, you go about shipping and doing business as usual in the Strait of Hormuz. So that's obviously out of the question.
So, Ambassador, if you argue that it's not thought through, the actions were not thought through, then why do you say it will proceed for a long time? Let's envision a scenario where, considerable damage, some missile of the Iranians hits a military facility of the US, the number of body bags climbs up. There you go. Donald Trump will have to backstep. He may declare victory and said we've annihilated. So if there is no strategy, if it is so random, if all the actions or majority of them seem so knee-jerk and Iran is holding out, what is there to finish it, to turn it around with one action going wrong?
You see, you are talking about Iran here. You're talking about a 2,500-year-old civilization. It's not a banana republic. And even if Iran is devastated completely, economically crippled, still there will be splinter groups, and that entire region, which is prospering and which has a lot of business activity, commercial hub, that will come under a lot of strain. And that ripple effect, I mean, you look at it as collateral damage. I mean, this is what I meant, that we are in there for the long haul.
Okay.
So you cannot imagine the implications. So all that I wanted to say, that Trump 2.0, I mean, from the tariff war to Iran war, I mean, it's been bad news for the entire globe and the humanity.
True. Let me bring in Admiral Sinha here. Admiral, from purely a military point of view, can I have Admiral Shekhar Sinha, Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha on the screen, please? Do we have Admiral Shekhar Sinha with us? Okay. All right. Till we get established that video link with Admiral Sinha, let me go back to Ambassador Sanjay Panda. Ambassador Panda, the Strait of Hormuz is one of the biggest reasons. Iran may be a 2,500-year-old civilization, etc., but in pure military terms, It is no match to the Israeli-US combined in terms of arsenal it has, in terms of technology it has. It may keep firing drones. The only leverage that it really has is controlling the Strait of Hormuz. Is it a possibility, as Trump threatens, and Tripoli sails into the Persian Gulf with 2,500 Marines, to take over Hormuz, take over a few islands, including the Karg Island, and then, what leverage is Iran left with?
This is the point that I was trying to make. The control that Iran has over the Strait of Hormuz, if yes, there is a tremendous military superiority if you talk about US and Israel combined. But there are certain frictions also there. I mean, Israel wants to destroy Iran in all spheres. Trump doesn't want the oil installations to be even touched. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two, if the Marines, the 2,500 Marines who are now in the region, if they choose to just invade and take it off, that actually takes a new turn. Instead of stability, that makes that entire region much more unstable than before. The war, shipping is not by the war alone. You see, it is the insurance companies who are unwilling to now take on this risk of shipping in the Gulf of Hormuz, Strait of Hormuz. So now that is going to bring a major economic crisis which we had not seen before since the Great Depression of 1930s. So we are getting into a very, very difficult scenario.
So I agree, Ambassador Panda, with you that the global supply chain disruptions already that it's caused, but the magnitude of it, if the situation becomes even more unstable, the world could probably be staring at recession. We'll come to the diplomatic and the implications of it. I have with me Vice Admiral Shekhar Sinha joining us on the show. Thank you, Admiral Sinha, for being here. Ambassador Sanjay Panda is also on the show. We were talking about, before you joined, about where this war is heading. He was saying there are implications in terms of geopolitics, in terms of economic impact of that. From you, I want to understand purely in military terms. Iran's only leverage today is its control on the Strait of Hormuz. It's firing drones, it's firing missiles, most of them are being intercepted. It's able to cause some damage somewhere. It's killed a few people, a few American soldiers at 13 or 14. It struck few facilities in Israel, in other parts of the other Gulf countries. Today also it attacked Kuwait, Qatar and UAE. But beyond, it hasn't been able to cause much damage to, or a major damage. So there is no military parity. Militarily, is it possible to snatch the Strait of Hormuz from the Iranians and take their leverage away?
Well, Tejpal, thank you for getting me on your program. Yeah, I heard the ambassador is quite right. Militarily, the Iranians are much more than what we think they are.
Okay.
They should not be taken as a pushover. But you're also right in saying that shortly they will run out of the ammunition, they will run out of missiles. Yes, they will, because they cannot match the capability of the US Navy. But the point is that there are mines which may have been laid, and that is why they are saying that we will not let the American and Israeli ships get out, and the countries who are supporting these two countries, meaning that the flags of the Gulf countries and the flags of the US and Israel merchant ships, they will be attacked. Now, they can be attacked by missiles or maybe a remotely controlled, the mines. There are mines which can be remotely controlled.
Right.
And they will have a full control on this. See, right now, Tejpal, what is happening is,
Amritpal, yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, Amritpal.
Yes,
the point is that there appears to be a little bit of vacuum on the leadership, particularly in the domain of the Ayatollah. There are conflicting news that he's fully in control or is not in control. As a result, the IRGC, which is completely in the hands of the Ayatollah, it is right now become completely autonomous. It doesn't take approval from the Iranian Navy, nor does it listen to them most of the time. That is why you may have found that when the Iranian, the foreign minister, he said that Indian ships will not be attacked, but thereafter, when the Thai ship was, got a hit. So what I'm saying is that what they will do is very difficult to say. Coming back to the Americans, now the
Sir, may I interrupt and ask one thing? Staying with the Iranians, if you're saying that their war machine is, operating independently in silos, probably it was so designed to after the Iraq war when they attacked Saddam Hussein and then the whole regime collapsed, including the famed Iraqi army. So perhaps by design, they said decentralize, so that the war, even if the supreme leader or the head is taken out, it can sustain itself before they can put a regime back in place. So can such, from military terms, can this drag on for a while? Is it viable when the military doesn't know what the RT is doing, the RT doesn't know what the AD is doing? Can this go on like this for a considerable length of time, and can it be a winning formula purely in military terms?
Well, it may not win, but the asymmetric warfare is something which we have to be very sanguine about. If you recall the Vietnam War, you see how much they dragged the Americans, and finally they had to leave. They forced them out. Okay. So I'm only hoping that situation doesn't get to that. And as far as the control and the coordination of various arms of the IRGC is concerned, they are fairly very well integrated with each other, because their own organization has not collapsed. Unless they are sort of taken out of the loop, or they are given assurance what the Iranians are asking, I'll find it very difficult for it to end completely. Like President Trump has asked for the coalition partners to send their ships. What will they do? I think this is only expanding the
theater of war.
The theater of war, and which will unnecessarily invite possibly the Chinese, who are already helping right now quietly. And if they start helping them absolutely openly, and the Russians pitch in, then we are looking for a very prolonged sort of crisis. Because President Trump has said, somebody asked him that when will it end? He said, when I feel like, when I think it is time to end. So, and they have not agreed. Now they are saying, sorry, I'm not agreeing to the conditions laid down by the Iranian government. So I think that, we are in a little bit of logjam, and we require, they were already talking to each other in Oman. And I think the Omanian, Oman should come back into the theater of this, and they should start looking at the possibilities of meeting these people and taking some decision.
No, Oman, let me bring Ambassador Panda here. Ambassador, the Admiral argues that, the mediators, Oman, maybe Qatar, they should come back and get the... But you only mediate when the two sides are ready to listen to each other. Here, they are taking entrenched positions, maximalist positions. Neither are the Iranians backing down, nor is Donald Trump backing down. He's saying, well, I'll continue, I'll finish it to the end, and I'll finish it when I want to. I will finish it on my own terms. They are begging me for a deal. I don't know whether to believe him. He said that earlier. But so they're both taking very maximalist positions. What can the mediators do when the two sides are not ready to sit down?
Amritpal, Admiral is spot on about the way the war is heading. There are uncertainties, but coming to the mediation or the mediation part, it is important that the principal actors have to be prepared and send the right signal for mediation. Now, President Trump says that, look, they are asking for a ceasefire, but they have given me a deal, but I don't see that the deal is good enough. So that's a very loose kind of a statement. And then the foreign minister of Iran immediately retorts in an interview to CBS News. He says that, look, we don't want to talk to the Americans because we were in the middle of the talks when they decided to attack us. So it doesn't make any sense to talk with it. And I can tell you there is no back channel diplomacy which is at work at this point in time. Back channel diplomacy can work when the principal actors are ready. And at this point in time, I can tell you
they're
they're
not.
not ready.
So that's why you say it could drag on for a long time. Let me ask.
And there's one more point, Amritpal, I wanted to make.
Yes, sir.
When you're talking about diplomacy, now President Trump gives out many loose statements. Like, for example, his attack on the Karg Island. He said, well, I did it. I, mind the word, I did it just for fun. I mean, how can the allies and the Gulf countries, the Middle East countries, rely on, is US a reliable security partner for them? Can it protect them? So now, when you say US, your protector is an unreliable partner, and you are at a time when Iran is sending a stray drone and a stray attack to one, but then you have this fear scenario. You cannot open up your, airports. Life cannot be normal. Business cannot continue. So everything comes to a standstill. There's a logjam, as very rightly Admiral mentioned.
Sinha said, yes.
Yes.
Well, then the world will have to bear the brunt of it if it drags longer. That doesn't augur well either for supply chains around the world, its economic impact. But as both of you say, and that's the general consensus, that the end doesn't seem to be in sight unless something dramatic happens. Well, I'll thank both gentlemen, Admiral Sinha and Ambassador Sanjay Panda, for joining me on the show and sharing your insights with us.